You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
So welcome, everybody. Everybody's slowly getting on. I see somebody that put something into the Q&A. Oh, Tom from Texas. Okay, good. Okay, so let's get started. So all the newbies out there, my name is Stacy Rossetti, and I invest in self-storage, and I teach people how to invest in self-storage. We own 11 storage facilities, all right? And we have been investing in real estate for 10 years. We've done over $20 million in transactions, and that is just growing. And we also have four facilities under contract right now. I have an acquisitions person. His name is Chris. He's not on here because, I bore him now. He just works for me, so I just bore him, right? He doesn't want to hang out with me, but he is out. He is doing awesome. He's doing exactly what I teach you. He's doing exactly what I teach you, and he's getting out there and he's talking to owners, and he's finding owners that want to sell, and he's making offers and just putting offers in. So he's doing very, very well at finding facilities. So I'm very proud of him. And he is the acquisitions person. I'm the money person. I am the person that's supposed to raise the money and find the money to buy all these storage facilities. And so we do that in a lot of different ways. We either borrow money from private lenders, we partner with people, or we have a fund that we're about to launch. I'm really, really excited. We're very, very close. I just hired a CFO. Isn't that so cool? I hired a CFO, right? This is let me just talk to my CFO and just see what he says, And we've gotten to the point now where we need somebody that we can talk to about the types of strategies that we're doing internally within Miss Lillian Self-Storage, which is our storage facility, which is the company that we use all of our storage facilities with, and then also now the fund. And so we've hired a CFO, and he's going to help us manage all this. And so I'm really excited about that. That's the big thing that we're doing this year. Besides launching the fund, we have a CFO. And I'm really excited about that. And I feel like I need somebody to bounce ideas off. Sounds like my dad. Got some ideas off, and just make sure that we're on the right path. And we're getting to the point now where on the 11 facilities that we have, we're ready to sell some of our facilities and 1031 exchange them into bigger deals, right? Because me, we buy smaller deals. It's typically our deals up until now have been $600,000 or less. Right, we haven't bought huge, big deals, and we're getting to the point now. The ones that we have under contract are $1 million deals. So my husband and I are of the personality. Slow and steady wins the race. Right. So I'm not the type of person who's going to be all right, I want $100 million in assets. We are old timers. All right. We country folk, and we want to RV and spend time with our family and travel and just not really work, honestly. Our goal is to not work. That's really the truth. And so we don't go out and buy huge big deals and stuff like this. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because I have a lot of students that are I'm just going to buy one. I'm going to get my foot in the door, and then I'm going to 1031 exchange that to a bigger deal. And then after that, I'm going to 1031 exchange into a bigger deal. And that's what I want to do. And in fact, I have one student that joined last year, and he's already he bought 2 deals in the first year, and he's already selling them and 1031 exchanging them into $5 million deals. There's nothing wrong with that at all, too. But my personality is just not working is my personality. I'm more of to boss people around, tell people what to do, and to not work. That's my personality. So Anyway, so I wanted to do, and actually, Luther, I was on a coaching call with him right before this, and he is the one that inspired me for this call and to this for this session. And this session, I'm going to just talk about Radius Plus. That's what I'm going to do. Radius Plus. So who here knows Radius Plus and utilizes Radius Plus to find storage facilities or to run deal analysis? If you are one of the people that like gets into Radius Plus all the time and uses it, please put into the chat, I love Radius Plus and I use it all the time and it helps me to, analyze my deals. Or if you're one of the people that are like, I just have no idea what Radius Plus is, please tell me what it is so I can utilize it to find my deals. Can you put that into the chat for me? While I'm waiting for your answers, I want to remind you that we have a coaching program called Storage Nerds. So you can go to storagenerds.com. Now that coaching program is closed for the next 90 days. It will not open until May because I only open the doors to that 3 times a year. All right. And then on top of that, we have Super Simple Self-Storage, which is my course. And you can buy the course and just go to stacyrossetti.com and buy the course. And that will at least help you over the next 90 days to get you ready for the May 1st opening. It just walks you through and guides you through all the stuff that you need to know on how to get started. All right, good. We got some chats in here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so Radius Plus. So in the coaching program in Storage Nerds, when you the rule is that one of the very first milestone that you achieve is to put your first offer in. When you put your first offer in, then you get a t-shirt, a Storage Nerds t-shirt. So Luther gets his first milestone t-shirt. So that's good. So congratulations to him. Okay, so Tim and Tina here, pretty new. We have done conversions for property and are going to offer on another one. Okay, so you've already done conversions. I love it. Awesome. And let's see. So everybody's saying no idea. I used it to check the price on the pro forma. Okay, no idea. Heard of it, but have not used all the tools yet. We'll soon evaluate the facility. I'm interested. Good. Haven't used it. Good. Let's see. Haven't used it. Hear good and not so good about it. Honestly, I want to find a way to more steadily do my research. If Radius can help, great. Perfect. Yes. So Radius Plus is actually like one of the softwares that is very, very good at a lot of different things. Now, it's not like the most extensive software out there, but for us, little people that are here to buy our first deal or just do a couple of deals, like Radius Plus works fine, right? There is another software out there called Yardi, if anybody's ever heard of Yardi, but that's expensive. And but it's like the most, it's really for people that want to do like huge big deals and stuff because it is like super expensive. Now, I will have them come in to Storage Nerds and do a demo for us because I want to see it and see how it works and stuff. So I'm very interested in having them do a demo for us. But we've been utilizing Radius Plus and I teach my students how to utilize Radius Plus. So I figured that we would do that today and just go over it and talk about what you can do about this. And how do you find the $5,000 and $6,000 deals? I'm not sure what the 500 and 600,000 is what you're talking about. And it seems like it's pay as you play. Yes, it is. So let's talk about that. So Radius Plus, in order to get on Radius Plus, essentially you sign up and you get an account and they will give you 5 free credits to play around with the try. So your first 5 hours are free. A credit is 1 hour. Okay. And then after that, a credit is $20. Okay. So it's $20, which actually isn't really that expensive, because how often you can be sitting there like looking up deals, right? It's not like it's not like residential. Like storage is just like, every once in a while you get a deal, you get on, you go look up the information. So it's $20 per credit. But the good thing is that if you find facilities that are not in Radius Plus, then you can add them and you can get a credit. And I'll show you how to do that. But Radius Plus pulls data off of websites, online data. That's really, it pulls all of the data off of like other facilities data. All right. So those are good and pluses for that as well too. So I'm going to kind of show you how that works. But today's session is going to be like how to utilize Radius Plus to find properties that you can buy. Right. So somebody just asked, like, how do you find $500,000 and $600,000 facilities? Guess what we do? We call people up and ask them if they want to sell. That's what we do. And then we utilize Radius Plus to help us look at all the information that we need to know in order to run the deal analysis. So actually, like, everybody's always like, how do you find these things? How do you find these things? The truth is we just call owners up and see if they want to sell. That's how we find things, right? The hard part is determining whether or not it's a good deal. All right, that's what Storage Nerds is here to do. So hopefully you'll join that when the doors open, because I will walk you through and hold you through that. But essentially, you can utilize Radius Plus. So let's pull this up. Okay. So this is what Radius Plus looks like once you join and come in. Okay. All I did is I have not picked up picked a like specific storage facility. What I did is I just picked an area. I picked an area called Americus, Georgia, which is actually the place where we just closed on a storage facility. Okay. And we just closed on it. So we closed on it like December, right before the end of the year, essentially. So we've had this thing for like 2 weeks, or no, I guess it's a month. Wow. We've had this thing for a month now. Okay. So Americus, Georgia, if I zoom out, right, you can see kind of where it's at in Georgia. So everybody, just so whoever doesn't know me, you guys, I have all my facilities are in Georgia and Florida area. So that's why I'm focusing on Georgia and Florida, but you could use it anywhere. And you can see, like, as you zoom out, like, obviously blue and like where these like high central area, I mean, this is all, the Atlanta metro market right here. So there's a lot of storage facilities. And Radius Plus, like I said, pulls the data from the website. Okay. And then it compiles it into what I show you today. So you could take a look at it. But this is also, like, I just posted out. If you guys are not in the public group on Facebook, it's called Super Simple Self Storage. Make sure everybody joins that group so we can all talk to each other. Right. And but I just posted this picture. I mean, this looks like a lot of storage facilities, doesn't it? There's like 51,000 storage facilities on Radius. That's what they told us when they did the demo, which I thought was awesome. Now, remember that Radius Plus pulls the data from websites, right? So 51,000 storage facilities have websites, or I would say, actually, I probably wouldn't say all 51,000 on here, because basically, what happens is people can come in and add a facility. So if you're in an area, let's just say like right here in this West Virginia area, there's got to be some storage facilities in this area, right? Is there like no storage facilities in this whole area of West Virginia right here? No, there's got to be, right? But this is considered like super duper extra rural. I'm guessing this is like the rural area of West Virginia. And there's probably not a lot of storage facilities. And especially there's not a lot of storage facilities that are online and have websites, right? And then and on that website, they may have a website, but they may not post their prices on the website, right? So that's another thing too, is like, that's kind of how Radius Plus works. So this area is actually a really good area right here. Like, I would say, where are all the storage facilities in this area? There's got to be some. And this area right here, I call the hidden market, right? I call it the hidden market. There's got to be some storage facilities in this area. Now, Radius Plus is not going to show you those, because Radius Plus can only show you like what they have, the data that they have, right? So your job is to get into this area and look for Radius Plus. Also, another thing too is that like West Virginia may just be like a declining. A lot of it is declining market in West Virginia for some reason. A lot of people don't want to live in West Virginia, and so it may just be like not a good area to invest in, and that's why nobody's investing. look at this area right here. I mean, there's like no storage in this area. And this is like Pennsylvania right here, all this area. They don't have a lot of storage facilities here, but there's got to be storage facilities there. There's just got to be, right? But this is probably super rural area, Pennsylvania. And a lot of storage facilities don't have, websites, and they just don't have, they're just not online and stuff, right? So they just don't come up on this information. And so you can find the tertiary markets, which I invest in secondary to tertiary markets. And I like to find properties that I call the hidden market. So actually, one of the really good benefits of Radius Plus is it will help you to find the hidden markets of the storage investing world, because there has got to be some storage facilities in this area, but this area must be tertiary market that's very rural, that may not be online, right? So I would utilize Radius Plus in this respect. All right. And, and just know, because I've been in Maine, I've driven all over in Maine, and there's storage facilities everywhere, but it is considered very rural. All right. So, so this will help you and guide you along the way to figure out where you should be investing in. So in Georgia, obviously, when we're looking at Georgia, there are a lot of storage facilities in this area, right? There's a lot of storage facilities. But when you zoom in, you can kind of see, where other good areas would be. So here is Americus. Now, remember, I focus on like first-time facilities, all right? So I'm the type of person, I'm going to get my foot in the door. I'm going to help you to get your foot in the door. Now, maybe down the road, you might be able to, afford $2, $3, $4 million facilities, okay? And then you'll get into primary markets and primary markets and secondary markets of Atlanta. But I'm here to help you get your foot in the door, okay? So as you can see, Americus, this is the 10-mile radius of Americus. Now you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 miles. Okay, you can do all the different radiuses, right? So you can see Warner Robins right here. It's got a good amount of storage facilities in a 10-mile radius. Macon's got a good amount of storage facilities, but I bought this one in Americus, Georgia. And so now we're zooming in and we're going to just take a look at Americus, Georgia, and just see what it looks like, just to give y'all an idea. Okay. And you can set if you see a lot of blues, right? Or you see like right here, here's the blues. This is like what's under construction. This is what's going to be planned to be built. And you know how they find that information? That's another thing I forgot to tell you too. They are pulling the permit, so permits are public data, right? So they are going in and pulling permits and seeing, pulling permits for commercial and seeing which ones are for storage facilities. And then they can come in and they can post those here as well too, right? So as you scroll out, you can get in here, see if there's any blues or greens or, so this one was built in 2019, 2020, 21, 22. So there's a couple of newer ones in Columbus, but there's a lot of older ones in Columbus, right? And so, I see pre-2019 as older. And, and as you can see, there's a lot of them that have been built, in the last, and before the last couple of years. But then you can get over here and start looking and saying, okay, where are some areas that have a lot of blues, right? So obviously you can see there's a lot of blue going up in Atlanta. So there's a lot of storage facilities. See, we have a storage facility. I think this must be it, right? Yeah, there's a brand new one that just got built. Is this the ball ground one? That's Elijah, right? So this is permitted. It's 15,000 square feet. All right. This is a brand new storage facility that's permitted to be built right here in Elijah. And we have a storage facility over here somewhere in Ball Ground. And but you can see here's another one that's being permitted, right? This is over here in Let's click one and see. Oh, there it is, under construction. It just took a second to get up. I didn't think I clicked it right. Okay, yeah, see this one, Incoming Highway, is under construction, 66,000 square feet, right? So you can play around. So basically the area that you want to be in, it's going to show you what is happening, right? So there's all different kinds of stuff coming up under construction, planned, permitting, and then any of the newer ones, right? So you could see what the competition is and stuff. And then anything that's post 2019, is it post or pre 2019 would be just considered supply. That's just, how just kind of how they do it. Okay. And so we are in Americus. This is our little tiny town right here. Here's Albany. There's a lot of storage facilities at Albany, right? And so I like to look at the population. I like to look at the rate. So this is the 10-mile radius. So now we're trying to educate ourselves about the population. So now you're going to click on, and then in this location, just so everybody knows, you can come in and just put whatever address that you want, and it will just come up and show you what storage facilities are in the area. I just put the city is what I did. And so now we are in the trade area section. And this is where it kind of on the right side right here is where it gives you all the information that you really need as an analysis. Okay. So as you can see here, it looks like in this 10-mile radius, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 6? Yeah. So no, there's 5 facilities. Which one's ours that we just bought? Is this it? Okay, easy storage. And as you can see, okay, so when you click on these, we're going to be looking at like who has a website and who doesn't as well too. And let me see here. I saw a couple of things here. Yeah, perfect. And then I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, yeah. So the easy storage and suite is 23,000 square feet. It's a pretty good size facility. And then we've got Store More is 4,800 square feet, right? We've got, and actually, as you can see here, 5x10s are $69. And then it has like a $48 here. So I'm not sure like if that's a discounted rate or what, but like essentially they're $69. Let's click this blue thing and see what happens. Oh yeah. So then you could click on this and then you could take a look at it. All right, let's see. This is the picture. Let's look and see what it looks like. It's probably behind that building, so you can't see. It's probably in here or behind here. But as you click on this, you can see it's 101 Georgia Highway 27E. Here's the address. It's 4,800 square feet. The ownership, there's no owner, there's no contact information available, but we'll look and see if we can find one because they do pull up contact information of some properties as well too. And that's another thing I really like is that you can find the owners of the properties inside of Radius most of the time. Okay. Here's the building itself. And then here's if there's any other information, it would just give it right here. And then also if you could get any information from the facility, you would get it right here as well too. Okay. So obviously this one does not have a website. So like there ain't no information, right? This is just like a whole lot of nothing. Let's try to find one that, let's go back to the trade area. Here it is. And then let's try to pick another one. Which one's this one? And okay, here's America's Self-Storage on Brady Road. It's 21,000 square feet, right? You can click on this, open it up, and then you see here are the 6 buildings, and then you could see the picture. It's a good-looking storage facility right there, right? And then over here you see Stevens Richard. Guess what? It's owned right in his own name. So you could call him up and say, hey, is Richard there? Oh, no, Richard Stevens. It's like the 2 first names, right? No, but Richard Stevens, I would call up the phone number and say, hey, is Richard there? Just pretend like I knew the person, and they'd be like, oh yeah, he's not here. No, he's not around right now. Okay. Can you leave him a message for me? I was just trying to get a hold of him. All right. And so I kind of do that too. When I see the owner's names, I just pretend like I know him is what I do. And as you can see here, this one zoning is industrial. right? So you can see like the parcel number is here, the acreage, it's on 1 acre, 21,000 square feet on 1 acre. I mean, it's like the perfect, that's probably 1 acre right there. Honestly, it's probably what the boundaries look like. And then you could click on this. If it had a website or any information, you could click. And then also you get to see the loan. Like you could see whether or not they have a loan on it, what they paid for, what it's assessed for, right? Their taxes. Look, they're only paying $386 on this it was valued at $12,000. So that if you went out and bought this thing, it'd probably go up in price because, of course, when you buy something, the taxes increase based on the price. All right, so good information. I mean, really good information on Radius on just like knowing the storage in your area. So now another thing I want to do, here's security mini storage, which is 37,000. Here is Self-Storage Americas. This is the one that we bought. Has our website up already, and it's 9,500 square feet. We're charging $45 for 5x10s, $65 for 10x10s, and $80 for 10x15s is what we're charging. Okay. You can click on this and then you can get all the information, and you could see like who the owners are. You could see like what it's zoned commercial, the property numbers. I mean, all the public data is right here. And then as you can see, the rates, right, are all here, right? The rates are all here of what we're charging based on the last data available is 127. So it just pulled this data. So it's very new data. So it's pulling the information from the website, okay, is what it's doing. And then you could see like what what the property is assessed at, what the taxes are, things like this is all right here. Okay. So let's go back to the trade area and let's see, let's go to this one right here is, let's see anything else. There's one more. Yeah. Store more. I think we got all of them. Okay, good. Okay. So we got all the facilities. So as you can see in this 10-mile radius, there's 5 facilities. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah. Right here. So then it shows you on the right that there's 5 facilities. The total square footage is 96,000 square feet. Climate controlled is 4,800 and non-climate controlled is 91,000 square feet. Okay. So obviously there's more non-climate controlled than climate controlled in this area. And then as you can see, it calculates the square foot per capita for you, right? This is a very, very important number in the industry, supposedly. And, so as you can see, it's a 3.5 square feet per capita. All right. How does it come up with that? It basically takes the total population, right, and it divides it by the total square footage. Right. That's what it does. All it does is divides that. And then you could check out like, how is the economy doing, right? So you could see the average household is 50,000 square feet. I mean, it's 50,000 square feet, $50,000. You could see the population growth and it's decreasing. All right. So people are not, people are not staying in this area. It's going down. And the household is 10,000. And let's see what else. You can just look at all this of household size and income and all this kind of stuff too. So you can look at this and you can determine whether or not this is something that you would be interested in buying, right? So some of the things that I look at like the square foot per capita, right? We also look at like the total square footage of the area and then the population of the area. So there's 27,000 people in this area and there's 5 storage facilities, right? So obviously that's why the square foot per capita is. Now, when you go into Americas, right, it doesn't look like it's declining. I've been there. I've been to the city driving around, and there is so much new construction. There is so much, like so many roads. They're putting in brand new roads. It looks like it's being built up. They're really building the place up. But It's a small town. The town itself is only 15,000 people. This area right here. So if we go into like a 3-mile radius, you could get in and zoom in and say, oh yeah, it is only. Let's see. Actually, let's see if it fixes it. Yeah, if it takes a second. But when it does, you'll zoom into the population and you'll see how it changes based on what your 1 mile radius is. We could probably have to get out and then get back in. Let's try it again. Anyways, but what I'm saying is that you can look at the radius based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 miles. You can look at the population. So obviously this is like a middle of nowhere. We've already looked at this. This is like the middle of nowhere. So you want to do a 10-mile radius in something like this. When you're in when you're here in Warner Robins or you're in Columbus, I mean, obviously, if I pick something in like Columbus, I would want to do a smaller radius, right? Because you don't want to have if I did a 10-mile radius, you have 20 different facilities. So you do really the primary markets are typically like a mile radius. And then the secondary markets would be around a 3-mile radius, and tertiary is like a 5 to 10-mile radius is what it is. Okay. And then you could just really hone in. You could I could pick this one right here and say, oh yeah, this is the one that I want to look at. Right. My hours went out. I bet you that's what it is. My hours up. So, but anyways, so I wanted to show you at least all the demographics, but let me just pull while it's trying to figure out what it's doing. Let's see if there's any questions coming up and we'll answer those. Hard part for me is finding the financing. Okay. Can you please provide web address for Radius Plus? It looks like Ariel Lynn put it in, but I think it's probably radiusplus.com. I'm guessing. All right. And, it says here, Yardy is wow. Had worked with it when working in a large trust management. You can build into your specs. Looks and works more like an MS Word. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Yardy is like the top of the line. You get everything you possibly need, but it costs like a gazillion bucks. And then Radius is for like us, for like the little people. Okay. So yeah, if you can afford, a lot of money, then get Yardy. More power to you. And if you're like, and a lot of the bigger companies use Yardy and stuff, but we mom and pop players. Okay. It seems like it is pay as you play. Yes. Okay, good. So we already read that. Mm-hmm. What is the minimum population that you will need to invest? Well, so that's a good question. So essentially the way it works for me is, is it a good deal? Is it a deal that we want to do? So we invest in a little tiny town called Warm Springs, but it's like Warm Springs is kind of like surrounded by a whole bunch of other towns. And so the 10-mile population is a large population, but the town itself is like a super small town. So what we do is because we're in tertiary markets, we look at like 5 to 10 mile radiuses is what we do. So I don't ever say a town is too small, just as long as like within that town, within that radius, there's like a good population. Okay. So we don't go per town, we go per radius, which is really what you should be doing as well too. We're typically I'm guessing we're under, it depends on what type of facility, but we're under like 75,000 people population is what it is. Okay. We're typically from in a 10-mile radius, we're going to be from maybe 10,000 to 75,000 people is where we're going to be. Okay. If you buy 1 hour radius, you can use a half hour and save the balance later. No, you cannot do that. You use 1 credit and it's done. If it's 5 minutes or if it's an hour, you cannot do it that way. Okay, good question. And okay, is there a military discount for your course? No, I do not offer a military discount for your course, but I do for everybody that is here listening. If you want to go to stacyrossetti.com/flash-sell. Okay. Then you can get a special discount on that. Okay. So that'd be like not a military discount, but it'll be like an everybody discount. Okay. And so actually, Ariel, can you write that in? It's Stacy, and make sure, check that link to make sure it's good. But it's stacyrossetti.com/flash-sale. All right. And then you can get a discount. Typically it's $2,000, but it's at a 75% discount on that. Or I think it's 75%. Okay. Just check it and see. Okay, I want to know action, but I'm trying to work through the financing, buying, and figuring out if that the course will help, or even if you have a book. Okay, good. Is Radius just for storage units or other types of business? Just for storage facilities. So good question, just for storage. And I know you guys are asking about the financing, but we're not talking about financing tonight. I have done a bazillion videos on financing. So please, you can check out my YouTube page. You can go to the Facebook page. You can, so all these replays are live. So there are no replays for anybody unless you're students. All the students get the replays, but this is a podcast. So eventually it will come out in podcast form in the next couple of weeks. And also it is in the course. The replays are in the course as well too. Okay. All right. And we talk a lot about financing and how to find that stuff there. So good questions. Okay, let me see if I can figure out if I got back into Radius Plus. So Radius Plus we went through, and you're going to start using Radius Plus for analyzing deals is what you're going to do. And all you have to do is get in and put the address of the facility in. All right. And then it's going to pull up the radius. Essentially, that's how it works in storage, anywhere from 1 to 10 miles. And then as it pulls it up, it's going to give you all the facilities. So you can see like essentially what's online, and you could start running the numbers that way. And then on top of that, it's going to give you all the demographics. Okay. And then that way you can start looking at what the square foot per capita is. Okay. And typically you want to be under 8, right? That's the norm, right? But sometimes, you can be under, sometimes you can find facilities that are, under 10 or something like this. But, typically you want to be under 8. So that number is very important that I showed you, where it said 3.3 in Americas, the square foot per capita is 3.3. And then also the population and whether or not it's declining or growing or stabilized, right? And then like the whole demographics all together, analyzing and looking at it and saying, okay, like this is something that I would be okay in investing in. All right. And it's just really like based on your type of facility, whether or not you want to do it. We personally, we like areas that don't have a lot of facilities, but they have a lot of people. That's what we like. Okay. So we are actually, so for instance, okay, Franklin, Georgia, if anybody knows, is also a small area and not a lot of people. And I like to Google. I do a lot of Googling Franklin, Georgia population, just so I can have an idea of like what the population of the area is. Right? It's like essentially 912 people in this town. All right. There are 3 facilities in this town, mine and then 2 others. All right. Mine and 2 others. And actually one owner owns 2, and we own 1. Okay. So it's really 2 people that own. Now in this like 10-mile radius of Franklin, I think there's like 25,000 people. There is a lot of people, but the town of Franklin, this little tiny town, has only 900 people. But this radius over here has a lot of people. Okay. So that's what we personally like. So we don't look at just like the population of this little tiny town. We look at like how many storage facilities there are. And within a 10-mile radius, what's the population? There's 3 storage facilities. It's a total of 30,000 square feet in this area. And we are full. And in fact, we need to be building more because we have wait lists on these facilities. Okay. So just because we're in this little tiny town in the middle of nowhere doesn't mean that there's not a lot of opportunity. Okay, is what I'm saying. And Franklin will help you to determine that. And we also look at that as well too. So that's kind of our personality, and that's like where we look at. And these are all affordable facilities. I mean, actually, we're about to buy. The owner of the other two facilities called us up and asked us if we would buy his facilities. He wants to retire. And so we said, yes, we will buy them. So he owns two facilities. One of them is 100 units and the other one is like 70 units, something like that. And in this little tiny area, and actually, let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see, storage nearby. Yeah. And so you could see here it is, like A to Z and secure self-storage. And he owns these two right here. And so we're going to buy them. And one of them, this one right here, I can't remember which is which, honestly, is the one that has 100 and the other one. No, I think, oh yeah, this one right here has 60 and this one has 100. That's what it is. And we're going to buy both of them for $1 million. Okay. $1 million. And and he is 100% full, and it's about 100, I think it's 160 units is what it is. And he's 100% full. Okay. And so, like I'm saying, there is great opportunity in little tiny areas. So don't discount all these little tiny areas. But what that does is we're going to own all three of these storage facilities. And then guess what we're going to do, right? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to raise the rates, right? We're going to raise the rates and we're going to push the numbers because we're the only ones. And actually, both of those are on 5 acres. And there's definitely room to grow on both of them. We've already talked to the county, and I said, because I had Chris, my acquisitions person, called the county, and asked him if we could build on, and they just said, yeah, sure. If you need to build on, it's 5 acres. You can just, you can do whatever you want. It's fine. And so they already said yes to building on, and essentially we will just build on and add more units to these facilities here. And, we won't do a lot of units, right? We'll probably do maybe, 25 or 50 units at maybe 25 at each or something like this, or we'll figure it out. And then we'll just see if we can get those filled up. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll do that because the one that we own right here, this Miss Lillian self-storage, does not have any room to grow at all. So we're like, it is what it is. It's like 65 units or something like that. It's a little tiny one. It's like one of our first ones we ever bought. And so we bought that one for $189,000, like maybe 3 years ago. And so now we're going to have all three of these together. And that's like essentially what that is us creating a little tiny mini portfolio. Right. And eventually we'll have, let's say, 250, let's say 300 units. And then we can sell all three of these when they're completely full and at the highest, number that we can get them at. We can sell them to somebody that wants to buy an income producing property, with a little bit of value add. Definitely they'll be able to add more units on, but that's our goal in something like that. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing in Americus. Exactly. So essentially in Americus, which is kind of further, let's see, where is this down here? In Americus, it's the same exact way. So here's Americus. And, we have one in this area, but the goal now is to pick up a couple others and then just create a little tiny mini portfolio. And that's what Chris does is like the rule is as soon as we get something under contract, we call every storage facility within like a 30-mile range. And we ask them all if they will sell and let them know we just picked this one up in Americus and we're looking for a couple other ones. Would you be interested in selling? And so we create these little tiny mini portfolios. And the way that we do that, I mean, these facilities in these areas they're not a lot of money most of the time, unless they're 100% full and like at the highest price, but they never are. And so, we're the ones that get them kind of, value add them is what we do. And then we, and then we'll eventually sell them as a little package. That's our goal, is to sell them as a package. And we're actually getting to that point right now with some of the ones that we bought in the first couple years. And we're getting ready to sell those and 1031 exchange those into some bigger deals, and to do bigger deals. So that is our strategy on getting into storage investing. And so I apologize about like the Radius Plus thing. I'll figure it out. I know how to do it, actually. I'll get Chris to do it. And then another time we'll also go through Radius Plus, but at least it gives you kind of an idea of some of the information that you can use in order to find properties, right? So you can use Radius Plus to acquire properties, and you can use it to look at the demographics and, and try to really look into Radius Plus and see like maybe where some of those hidden markets are. Right. That's the whole purpose of that, because we buy in the hidden markets. We buy in the areas that are not saturated. We buy in the outlining areas or in the middle of the states and stuff like that. And then we create mini portfolios. Right. So we'll buy small facilities and then we'll make up 300 units. And then eventually we'll sell those off as a little tiny package. And once we get those up and running and stabilized. Okay. That's our goal. That's our strategy. Okay, good. Okay, let me see what we got here. We got some questions to round off this evening. Okay, I really like what I saw on Radius tonight. I can see it as a big help on my research. Yes, of course. And then what was the Stacy? Oh, yeah. Was that stacyrossetti.com/flash sell, SALE, flash-sell, SALE. All right, so hopefully Arielyn's on here. I'm not sure. She might not be on. Let me see if I can do that. Actually, try this link and see if this works. stacyrossetti.com/sell. Hopefully it works. I had a meeting today with my team and they said it was going to work. So I hope it works. Okay. Would it be cheaper to build a new fourth site instead of buying these other two? I mean, I would really look at that, honestly. Obviously, the thing with building is that it's just so time consuming and it takes forever, right? You can't just build something anymore, right? So now in these little tiny tertiary areas, like if you wanted to build something in Americus, they'd be like, sure, go ahead. There might be a little bit of restrictions, but not much, right? I've noticed that's why I like also these little tiny towns. And the truth is like, in those areas, it calls for a new storage facility. I mean, essentially there's 30,000 people in a 10-mile radius, and there's only like 100,000, people in that, 100,000 square feet in that area. That's like 3 square feet per capita. And typically like you want to be under 8. So you have a whole spread that you can build on, right? So if you want to do new construction and I'm telling you, there is not enough storage facilities in the tertiary markets. Now, primary markets, you don't want to be building in, you don't want to be doing that. Let the big wigs do that. Secondary markets in the burbs, right? In the burbs, it's like, it's too hard, too expensive, too much work. And then they all have all these rules about building. And it's just, I say secondary markets that are like cities that are by themselves, like Columbus, Georgia, or Augusta, Georgia, or Albany, or Americus, or, all these different towns like Valdosta. That's where I'm investing in. That's where I'm investing, is these types of people. And once you get into those markets and really look at them, you see players like me. You see the ones that are like, they understand the market. The secondary market is where they can be. And sometimes us little players, we understand that the tertiary market is where we want to be. And maybe eventually we'll get to the secondary market, but maybe not. Who cares? what is the minimum number of units to look for that would be worth making money on? Well, so talk to Luther, which I thought he told me he has a great story. He's a student that's one of our students, and he got out, start talking to owners. He lives in Alabama, and he's going to all these little tiny towns in Alabama. And essentially he found somebody that was like, look, I don't want to sell my facility. I just want to get it off my property. Would you be interested in just like taking it apart and then you can have it and just take it with you? And so essentially this guy is going to give him this property for very minimal. He said, you could have it. You could just charge, I think it was like $10,000 for 36 units. Okay. And he's like, just take it. If you can undo it and then find a place to rebuild it, you can have it for 10 grand. I mean, 3,600 square feet, right? It's at $35 a square foot. I think that was like $75,000 if I counted correctly. Let's do that math. Okay. 70, oops, clear. 3,600 times 35, $126,000 to build that. To build 3,600 square feet. Okay. And so so this guy is just like, I don't want it on my land. Would you be interested in taking it off? And then you could put it wherever you want. So now he's going to go and buy a piece of property for 10 or 20 grand and build this facility and put it up and do it himself, or maybe get his family to do it or whatever. And that's a good deal. All right. So that's like, because you're getting it at such a cheap rate. But like, if you're going to go out and build 3,600 square feet of space or whatever it is, you just don't for $125,000, it's just going to take you a long time to pay that off, is what I'm saying. And so you have to know that 36 units is or 3,600 square feet is just it's a small project that costs money, and it's going to take a longer time to pay it off, right? So your buy and hold time on that is going to be a very long time. All right. So, 3,600 square feet or 36 units or under 50 units is just really, it's hard to make a lot of money on. But you could also do what we do, and then you could buy you could do a whole bunch of little tiny ones everywhere and then create this mini portfolio. And then if you have 200 or 300 units, that's worthwhile, right? It sounds like you're willing to invest in markets with declining population. Why would you do that in the long investments? Like I said, I explained this before. For us, all right, it's all about how many people are in a 10-mile radius and how much square footage in a 10-mile radius, right? So just because one little tiny area is a declining market doesn't mean the whole entire area is a declining market. And also, if you go to the areas and you see new construction, a lot has happened in the last year. A lot has happened in the last 3 years to 1 year. All right. So people are moving out of cities and moving into little towns. And when we went to Americus, we saw that there was literally they're adding lanes to highways. There's new construction. There's new houses going up. I mean, it's a hustling, bustling town. So I can't guarantee, but I can say that most likely within the next year, that number is going to be going back up. It's just one of these areas that it is coming back. Now, I wouldn't buy in an area where it just keeps declining and declining. But honestly, the truth is that, storage is there is such a need for storage. There really is a need for storage, right? So I'm okay with taking that risk, and it was only a couple $100,000. So, all right, let's see. Let's see what else. Super simple self-storage we got. If you're ready to facilitate. Oh yeah, okay, got that. 4 questions. Arielyn is posting all the links to the storage course. She's posting all the links to get on the wait list for Storage Nerds. So make sure you go to storagenerds.com and get on the wait list. And then also join our Facebook group, which is called Super Simple Self-Storage. All right, thanks. What is your average recouple value? I don't know what's a recouple value timeline. A recouping? Are you talking about recouping value timeline? Every deal is completely different. And honestly, the truth is everybody asks me this question all the time. How much money can you make in storage? The truth is it's really all based on your financing. It's really based on like the financing, right? You could have a wonderful deal and like a horrible note and not make any money, which I know of somebody right now that had like a great deal and took a hard money loan and screwed the whole thing up. And now just like he's not making any money and he's freaking out. So if the terms of your note are very good, or the numbers of the deal plus the terms of the note are very good, then you could be doing very well, right? And so it just depends on that. You know what I'm saying? I bought like a $250,000 facility that's now worth over $1 million. All right. And then I've bought also a $100,000 facility that's only worth like 350 grand right now. So, I mean, it's like, everyone is completely different, and really it's based on the location. It's based on a whole bunch of different things. So to give you like some formula, just so you know whether or not you want to do this, I can't do that, because it's really about deal analysis and learning how to run numbers. Okay. And it's really about your risk level. All right. I'm okay with taking risks. I'm a risk taker. All right. But like, some people, they only want income producing deals that are making money, and they want that cash flow, and they want to get rid of their job, and so they have to replace their income. I'm okay with like, I don't have a lot of bills or expenses. We live in an RV. We travel full time, so, for us, it's like, we like to take big risks and live small right now. Later down the road, might be different, but right now for us, it's okay to do that. Okay, it's 7:00. It's time for me to hit the road, Jack, because I just heard my husband knocking at my RV door, right? Going, Stacy, I need to get in. I'm on Long Island right now, just so everybody knows. And we live in an RV. It had a blizzard this past weekend. We got almost 3 feet of snow. It's cold. I had to turn the heater off in the RV just so I could have this podcast. So it's a little chilly in here as well, too. So it's time for me to start wrapping up. But I love talking to you guys. I love that y'all show up and you're present and you're listening to me. I really appreciate it. I will be here next Monday. I'm here every Monday. I'm on the podcast. You'll have the podcast come out. It takes a couple weeks, but thank you for listening to the podcast. And I'm here to help you, and I'll see you at the next time. Okay. And I'll see all my students tomorrow at the mastermind.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.